two women powerhouses I'm sitting with at the moment, and why would you want to continue learning about these ladies? Eleni, for example, has an amazing business. She's from DY. She's a neighbour. She has an amazing business that she started from scratch that's going all through Australia at the moment, and we want to tell you a little bit more about it. Lisa.
Hello, guys.
You want to introduce Eleni?
Hello, darling.
Hello, Eleni. So, guys, I just want to tell you what, before I introduce Eleni reached out to me on Instagram and said, "You're a powerhouse woman. I'm a powerhouse woman. I love what you do on social media. I can really resonate with that because I'm, crazy and out there like you are. And running a business, Eleni, and I've just found out we're the same age. We have ridiculous amounts in common. Eleni, I'm going to hand over to you because I want you to do the intro. I reckon it's super cool what you're doing. And as a mum, it really resonates with me as well. So over to you, Eleni. I'm going to let you intro yourself.
Thank you, darling. Well, my name's Eleni and I run GalMatic, which I started 13 years ago. And we teach high school students how to change a tyre, check the oil, pop the bonnet, check the coolant. So basic car maintenance skills. And we teach over 100,000 Australian teenagers a year at school.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Could you teach me, Eleni?
Well, do you know what made me reach out, Lisa? Because I follow you on Instagram and just love your energy and love that you've got the courage to try it. Because as you know, we said we're both the same age. And when we started Business Was, you put an ad in the yellow pages and hope that the phone rang, and so much has changed. But what made me reach out was a photo that you posted of how many pairs of shoes you had in the car, and I just thought, oh, she can't, if she slams on the brake, those shoes are going to go everywhere.
You'll be happy to know I take my high heels off when I drive my car.
It ruins the carpet too, the high heel, when you've got your
Yep.
Mark, do you find that?
I'm still nothing to say.
Yeah, so he wears his flats when he drives. He keeps heels for when he's going out, not for driving.
So listen, this is really cool what you do. This is really, really cool what you do because I've never heard of this before. And I think this is honestly a necessity. I really do.
Yeah.
How do you think of starting a business? How do you think of starting a business like that?
Yeah.
Well, what was interesting, I've always been in corporate training. So I was a training manager for Baker's Delight. I was a training manager for SK2 Skincare, which is an exclusive Japanese skincare brand. Training manager for Harley Davidson Australia. And always having worked in training, I've got two daughters. Zoe's 15, Ava's 12. Yeah. And you might resonate with this, Lisa. I had all the intentions of going back to corporate work, and then I had the baby and the tears rolled down my cheeks of, I can't leave you. I can't go back and travel. And so I thought, what can I do? And I've always loved cars, and my husband builds hot rods. And I just thought,
his car out in the car park?
Many cars of his are in the car park.
Which cars?
Well, we can't say because sometimes we should be parking in
the
car park.
Are they 4-wheel drives?
No four-wheel drives. So hot rods.
There's some cool.
There are some amazing
four-wheel
drives, really big ones.
Yeah.
So I thought, what can I do where I'm still training, I'm still teaching, I'm using my skills, and we're talking pre-Instagram, pre-Facebook, when it was still cold calling, doing press releases, and using those traditional marketing skills. And I wrote a book called the GalMatic Girl's Guide to Learning About Your Car.
Gal for girls.
Yes.
Matic for.
And do you want to know how we got the name?
Yeah.
So we were watching Grease.
That's a classic. Yeah.
So it's not hydromatic, systematic. It's GalMatic. So all of our trainers are actors.
That is cool.
We've all been actors for 30 odd years.
Are you married to? Is it Kaniki from Greece?
I would definitely, if I was going to pick one, it would be Kaniki. So I don't like Danny as much as I like Kaniki.
Every girl loves Kaniki.
I know, because he's the bad boy. Everyone likes the bad boy. We want to tame them, don't we? So,
that's right.
Yeah, and that's how I started. So that's how we got the name. Started off as a book, and then it was selling really well that parents were saying, we buy the kids the book, they love it, but they throw it in the glove box. So that's when we decided to turn it into workshops, and we approached schools, and the schools love it, parents love it, the kids love it, and it's really inexpensive. and we go in there and they have the best time.
So tell me, so what do they learn? Mark, we already said you're not going to get a word in tonight.
Okay.
Not between two gas bags. But yeah, go on, Mark. Over to you. Go on.
I'd be looking forward to doing this course if I was if I'm year, what year would you be?
So years 10 to 12?
So year 10, we're bringing GalMatic. They're going to teach. I'd be like, cool, something different. Let's go. They'd have the greatest attitude.
Oh, they have a great time. And what you would love to know, Lisa, is about when we started 13 years ago, the main question I used to get asked was, what's it like working in the mail industry with cars? Do you know what kids are asking now? How can I run my own business like you do? Because I don't want to be like my parents who have full-time jobs and they're trying to fit in everything and they're stressed and they can't go.
Yep.
And it's totally turned around and they're saying, how do you do it? What did you do? And I now get invited to a lot of breakfast meetings with schools where I get to talk to their business students and I get to mentor a lot of the teens in how do I start my own business and how do I use social media and stuff like that to build a brand.
Have
That's
identified
so cool.
you as being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I won't talk
That's
much
so cool.
Yeah.
So Eleni, what are they actually learning? Like in a nutshell, so you're going in, are they from year 10, are they, these students? So they're 10, 11, and 12?
Yeah, 10, 11 and 12. And we teach all over Sydney. So we have some, in the northern beaches, we teach out west, we teach in the eastern suburbs, down south. All of them have the best time. So we turn up with our little cars and, when you're in year 10, you're 16, it depends on what classes we teach. So we do have Toyota Corollas, we have a few Commodores, depending where we're teaching. So we choose it knowing what the students would really engage with.
Yep.
And the first thing we do is we get their hands greasy. So they're changing tyres and they're pulling tyres off and on and they're using different types of jacks. And then we crack all the jokes about, nuts and jacks and all of that stuff. Yeah. So once we've all, gotten through past that bit.
Get them on board.
Yeah, that they love it. Yeah. We get to play.
But you know what? That's so cool because where do these kids go to even learn that stuff, right? Yeah. It's just got to be taught by dad or mum or your auntie or uncle. But this is stuff that we really do need to know. I'm surprised actually that someone like Service New South Wales hasn't gotten a hold of you and actually done some sort of a little course for these kids. And to add to that, Eleni, it'd be great if you could somehow tweak it and add to it some sort of a little safety driving course or something, which I personally think all these kids...
Well, we do teach defensive driving as well out of Dragway. Yes. So we do that as well. So we have that element and we teach at certain councils, we teach at youth groups, and it's we also have ladies only classes, so we teach them out at Bob Jane stores. Well, do you know what's really interesting? Thank you for bringing that up. We used to be ladies only because 13 years ago there was nothing around.
Yeah.
And we teach anyone that feels comfortable being in the class is allowed to come.
Yeah.
So we have teenagers, we have anyone that feels comfortable being in a predominantly female environment. And why we do that is because majoritively women haven't been taught this historically ever. And we had a lot of women in their late 40s that may be separating, didn't have a partner, and had that panic of, my goodness, my kids are learning to drive and I know nothing. I'm now nervous that they're going to get in a car and know nothing. And the dads love it because the idea of thinking Chesty Bond's dad with the Holden FJ is in the driveway is long gone.
Yeah, that's right.
It almost, I think it's almost a bit empowering for ladies as well to know. It's almost like just to know that I've got my back. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's, you sort of feel, and maybe something that, I think.
Well, it's funny that you're on tonight because I got a flat tire on Thursday, and what do you reckon I did?
You called NRMA?
No, I called Mark.
You called Mark?
I called Mark. I was like, he didn't answer. So then I was like, oh shit, now what do I do? So luckily for me, where I was, I found out that I was about 5 doors away from Bob Jane T-Mart. So I've got run flats. I thought, you know what, I'll just drive it up there. But you're right, Mark, you actually do feel a bit helpless. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to be getting under the car and changing a tire, but I would think that it is a great, handy thing to know, right? What does something like that cost? And then does it cost? What does it cost to do?
So when we're doing our classes at schools, it's depending on the size of the classes, but it's around $9 to $12 a student. So
oh my God, that's so
and we
cheap.
at that price so all schools can afford it, and that it's not something that schools with a bigger budget can.
So the parents,
some schools
pay,
cover it, and some schools the parents pay for it, but most incursions are around the $20-$25 mark.
Yeah,
right.
So we try and keep it really, really low so that they can all have a go.
You should feed them twisties. You'd have much better. Imagine that.
But we've had lots of kids that then contact us on social media and say, hey, Eleni, the tyre was flat and I got my parents out of the car and I changed it in under 10 minutes because of what we learned. So they're not scared. Once they learn, they love it. And then they go and photograph themselves and they put it all on TikTok and Instagram and everyone thinks they're cool.
That's
and they get
oh my God.
I like that.
That's
I can see our daughter do it. Our daughter would love this course, Mark. We've got to try and sign her up. We've got 2 girls. One's 14 and the other's 22. The 14-year-old definitely would love it. The 22-year-old would be calling for NRMA roadside.
Yeah. And do you know what we say? No one wants to change a tyre, but you need to know how in case you need to. Because if NRMA says they're an hour and a half away and it's raining and it's dark and you feel uncomfortable where you are, you can get that tyre on and off in under 10 minutes, nice and safely.
Yeah.
Whereas waiting, or even if you're calling the kids are calling you, you could be 45 minutes away, an hour away, not answering the phone.
Or if you're stuck somewhere remote, right? So if you're out and you've gone for a drive to the country or something like that. Look, I think it is an awesome idea. Now, if these kids are not at school, where can they find you?
So we've got a few different ways. We've got ladies' own public workshops they can come to. We run them at Bob Jane Kmart stores, and also we have an online course. So when people aren't close by, we've got an online course, and we've got some great Christmas packs where we sell the online course, and it comes in a little glove box pack, and it's got an emergency $25 fuel voucher in there, because we think that sometimes the kids are stuck, and that fuel voucher is better than cash, because cash they'll buy a drink.
That's so true. So listen, just on that, Eleni, I heard you say you got a Christmas pack. Guys, for those of you that are watching, what a great present to give your kids for Christmas. I can't think of a better present. Right? I reckon this is a great present and something that they're going to enjoy and that you actually feel good giving it, because it's so versatile. I think it's so practical and so versatile. I think it's awesome. Now listen, a little birdie told me that you are you are a finalist for the Telstra Business Awards this year. That's massive, Eleni.
Thank you. Yes, Telstra Business Woman of the Year. Yes, down from 22,000 nominations down to 4.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That is well done. Congratulations. That's a huge accolade.
Tell me, I've identified. I do have the opportunity to meet fabulous people. I've identified a lot of fabulous traits. What does it take? And I know it'd probably be easier for you because you've got the confidence of a saint. What does it take to get to number 4 in the Telstra Women's Business
Okay,
Awards?
what
does it actually really take?
It's those classic 13-year overnight success stories.
Yeah.
What it takes, if I was going to give anyone some advice on business or anyone that's just trying to start off in a career or perhaps change careers, it's dig small and narrow, but dig deep. Sometimes we try and get too good at too much. Just find your niche and dig deep.
Agreed.
Your niche was GalMatic.
Yeah, so my niche was training teens on cars. And so many people would say, oh, why don't you teach this sort of group? Why don't you get products? Why don't you diversify? And I just said, I want to teach every Australian teenager how to be safe behind the wheel.
And you know what? That's discipline, Eleni, because, some of the fundamental mistakes that we see with people that have been in our business and maybe got left and gone elsewhere, and we're like, what happened there? They had the golden ticket. That was the guy or girl that was really going to make it big in this industry, and then they decide to I call it, they decide to leave and go to the land of milk and honey, where they think it's sweeter over there. The truth is, as we say, the grass is greener where you water it, right? And
Yeah,
you're quite
exactly.
right. It takes quite a discipline. And I get the same thing. You know, people are like, you should do this or you should do it that way. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. But B, I'm just going to keep doing this because it's actually harder to stick on the straight and narrow than it is to like, oh, maybe I'll try this or maybe I'll try that, you know, and then you absolutely, you know, you're all over the shop and you're no good to anyone.
Yep. And you know, I think the hardest thing too is that they keep saying on social media to be authentic. And what makes me giggle is I was always at school, I was boisterous, I was loud, and they kept saying, stop talking, sit down, stop being so loud, stop being such an extrovert. And now all of those traits are what help me every day.
To dig deep.
Wow.
Favorite car?
My favorite car. Okay, my favorite
You're a car chick,
I like cars.
Yeah.
So my favorite car is 1955 Ford Thunderbird.
Whoa. Oh, that's a beautiful car.
Yes.
Now another thing, you're loud, you're out there.
Yes.
How if someone wants to be, so you've got an amazing fan who's watching, and I'm sitting opposite this lady, an amazing energy. How do you train? Do you train that, or is that just, or do you channel that, or is that just with you? Because I know you're saying that people are asking you to come and do a course, like talk to kids about you being almost an entrepreneur, and they're trying to bottle you up and sell it to the kids.
Yes.
Can you train that into a kid, or are you just running with that, you know, with these kids? Because you're meeting thousands and thousands of kids.
Yeah.
And that's a really good question, Mark. So what I find, we have 4 full-time trainers and 2 what we call loan cars, which is our extra trainers we use when we're very busy.
Yeah, like us.
And what's really interesting is we are all very different, and 2 of our trainers are very quiet and are just as popular. The secret is find out what you're very good at and hone that skill. So you don't have to be loud. So if you're not an extrovert, you just look obnoxious.
Yes.
So it's about just being who you are and trying to find what the person you're teaching or training or speaking with needs from you. So if you find what they need and you can give them that, then your personality is perfect for that skill.
You know, that is such an important thing. And I think, you know, this is an important topic. We were talking about, you know, Mark, a couple of weeks ago, what a HSC leavers going to do when they leave school and what a great career real estate is. And I think
this is an opportune time for this conversation as well.
It really is. Well, that's it. You know, coming toward the end of the year, HSC's done. People are waiting for uni marks and all that sort of stuff. But I think the big mistake that many people make is they often say to kids, what are you going to do when you leave school? And these poor kids are 17, 18 years of age. They've got absolutely no idea. The question that we should be asking is, what do you love doing?
Yes. And you know what we ask them to, Lisa? So to play from that, we say, who would you like to serve? What would you like to give when you grow up? And if you tweak the question to that, they'll say, oh, I like the environment, or I really like working with children. And then they can have this many different careers in that area. So we've said, stop saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we say, what would you like to give and what would you like to influence?
I love that. I love that.
I was having a chat, unfortunately, this is obviously, we're sort of going off a little bit, but I love it. We are taught with our children to get them to get a degree.
Yes.
Just get a degree.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm almost of the thought, and I can see the government's philosophy and parents' philosophy, while you are still studying, continue to still study.
Yes.
But I almost think like these kids at 17, 18 should go out and get a job, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, the job that you like. Now go get a degree.
Yes.
Because it's almost like the passion.
Yeah, I know. And so, I mean, everyone watching that has a European background, I was brought up on we came here on a boat and you owe us to be successful. So, you know, of course, school, then after school I went to university because that means I was successful.
What did you study at university?
I studied at Sydney, a Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
And so I ticked all the boxes to make them happy that, you know, the boat trip was worth it.
4 years.
But what I found has really gotten me to where I am is the skills I've learned with people skills, understanding different cultures, understanding to listen to people, understanding, and Lisa, you'll know this one, that when someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. They just don't like you. And that's okay.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is the thing, and I know you also put yourself out there on social media, Eleni. That's how we connected. But, you know, I not a lot, but, you know, there's often that people be like, oh, she's come up on my feed again. Well, you know, just press the unfollow button.
Yeah.
Because but in life, unfortunately, you just can't do that, right? The great thing about being on social media is you can, like, people will be like, you keep coming up on my feed, just unfollow me or block me and then I won't. You know, but I think there's a really important message there, just to be inexcusably yourself, you know, just that authenticity. And I think that's why people resonate with you, Eleni, because you are the person. And look, we haven't actually, unfortunately, gotten to meet personally, but I know that you are the same person in person that you are on social media. And you have to be. You can't be one thing here on this camera and then something somewhere else, right?
And can I make you laugh, Lisa? You know how many times we'll take great photos. You know, we've had professional photos done, or when we teach in class, we take great photos. 3 weeks ago, we went viral. So we hit SBS, ABC, we're on the Today Show. We were on.
Oh, wow. Good on you.
We got 60,000 comments.
How?
And it was a photo where I look like a Teletubby. And I thought, why couldn't I pick a beautiful photo?
It's always the way. Don't you remember when you thought?
Just angle or something?
Yeah, well, because I'm sitting on a tyre talking to the kids. You know, whereas usually when we're going to put a photo up, we get one of the kids with their hands greasy. We don't take photos of ourselves sitting on tyres, bent over, talking.
But Eleni, people can resonate, right? People can resonate with that. They can. You know, there's been many a time when I've done something on social and I thought, oh my God, that is vile. And it's like, but you know what? We're human. Yeah. Like, I don't think people respect that filtered version of you, right? And that's what they're loving about it.
Yep, it's important to show the young ones that stop thinking the only images of you are the ones that you've doctored, because that's not who you are, and don't compare yourself to images that aren't real.
It's so true.
Just share what you want to share.
It's so true.
Don't you find they're too busy documenting the experience that they miss enjoying the experience because they're too busy trying to get the perfect image of the experience?
Yeah, something that
without a doubt
mentioned before, and Lisa's always mentions, but I heard you mention it, is you mentioned serving people, and you mentioned, and Lisa puts it in the word, what do you want? Like what? There's what you want, but there's what. Put that aside. These kids are putting up photos and stuff. It's sort of the photos that they want to see up, but it's like, what do people want to see? And I noticed the crap photos that I put up just do so much better.
Yeah, they do.
Because it's like you haven't even thought about that and you've just thrown it up.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that they're the people that are getting rewarded in business at the moment. The people that, I don't know if you call it, but you're sort of giving people what they want and you're serving them, and then you're getting reciprocated the business. But it's happening like really quick.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you look at, and again, we're just getting off topic here, but if you look at something like TikTok, guys, that is really about people, for what it's worth, being extremely authentic. You know, if you actually flick through there, and I think that's why people can resonate with it, because it's fast content, but it's quite real.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it's quite authentic. It's certainly where Instagram's like, you know, it's heavily filtered and all that sort of stuff. People seem to be able to resonate with that a lot more. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Now,
and also,
go on. Sorry.
And also, I think something that I like when I'm watching your feeds is that it's encouraging, because it's so easy when you're our age to think, I've already done too many different things. I don't want to push myself. Oh, that's for young kids. It's really important that we realize this is part of, it's like an online resume now. You can't just do the traditional forms of marketing and expect yourself to be noticed or to go for those positions. So even if you're not running a business, you just, want to change careers or a different company, you really need to think of yourself as a brand and see how you're presenting yourself as a brand, because it is so important to keep up with what everybody else is doing on that social platform.
Absolutely. And also, when you're yourself, you don't need to adapt that. It's like, I'm just being myself. And if you don't like it, well, I'm just being myself, as opposed to someone who's got a mask on and they're like, okay, that didn't work and I didn't get enough, whatever, followers, likes, comments, whatever people, get a kick out of. And then they put the other mask on, right? And so you just continue doing this until you find a mask that everyone is comfortable with. But the reality of it is, you're not going to win the popularity contest. That's not why we're here doing this. We're here doing this as a service to people, like you are, right? It's a service to people, but being inexcusably and authentically yourself. And I think there's extreme magic to that. I really do, in a world where everything is very filtered these days. It really is. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And just to always think about, what is my next step and what can I do now to make the next step easier, rather than getting overwhelmed by it. And sometimes people will say, how do you do all of this marketing? And I say, I'm not marketing. I'm just sharing what we do so that other people that would like what we do can find us easily. The minute I try and market,
it's work.
It's work.
I love that.
It seems really like an ad.
But what you're doing is actually doesn't feel like work. It feels natural. It feels like you're helping people, and it just flows on from that, which you guys have got a lot of similarities.
We have a lot in common. But Eleni, I want to ask you something, because this is a question that I get asked a lot, just as a working mum, someone who does, running your own business. And I think I heard you say before that you also do some acting on the side, and children and housework, right? We still have to juggle all these other balls as well.
Yes.
How do you find your balance?
Yes, fabulous question, and something that I think our generation has it harder than the younger generation do, because we're still coming out of that generation where we were given the impression post-feminism that we can do everything all at the same time, and you can't. You can't focus on career and house and family all at the same minute, and I think we fell into that trap. So what I always do, and this sounds quite little, but every morning I write 3 things that I'm grateful for, and every evening I write 3 things that I'm grateful for that happened. And after I've been doing it for about 30 years, and what I find is I start the day with, what do I have to achieve today to make everybody's life that little bit easier? And if that means focusing on someone's lunch, or someone's going away, or the washing has to get done, those things still have to happen. But if I'm teaching, I'll organize things that the other stuff takes a lower priority. So it's just, what do I need to get the day happy for everyone? And being focused on grateful for what I have, because it's very easy to complain and say, it's not fair, no one's helping me, I'm doing all the chores. Whereas if we turn around and say, how lucky am I that both my kids are healthy, that they can now catch the bus to school? Or how lucky am I that the traffic today wasn't bad and I got to work on time, rather than complaining about how long it takes us to get out of the northern beaches.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But it is always a juggling act, isn't it?
It is.
A working dad.
Yes.
What is it like being a working dad? Tell us women.
That's great though, Mike, because I find every time I've done anything in a corporate setting, I'm seen as a working mum, whereas the men aren't seen as working dads. They're seen as men that have families.
So true.
Because I'm a working mum. And what I'm trying to break down is, we need to be thinking career-wise and from a corporate level of working families.
I think the word is working parents.
Yeah, or working families to incorporate.
Families doesn't matter if the kids are older.
Yeah, but some people have a grandma or a grandpa that's really pertinent to the running. And some have the nanny, who is a pertinent element to the family running. So it's about working family, and we don't have to still think that we need someone sitting in a desk from 9 to 5 and paying them per hour, rather than saying, here's the output we need. Can you create that output in a way that suits you and your family and your personality?
Crazy world.
Some
and
good messages there. Really
strong.
phenomenal messages. So, guys, for anyone that's watching, just to wrap up, Eleni is with us from GalMatic Garage, training teenagers how to do some very, very fundamental, really important tasks like changing tires and changing oil in cars and things that I would never in a million years know where to even go and find that sort of info for the kids. I think that is awesome. We're going to put a link in here as well, Eleni, so that people will be able to find you, follow you on Insta. So you're GalMatic Garage on Insta, aren't you?
Yep. So if they look on GalMatic on any social, they'll find us.
Okay.
I'm feeling a podcast from you and I, like Ask Eleni and Lisa stuff. Are you feeling it?
That's good. You know what? You and I, I can see we're similar people. We're similar people.
Crazy though, really.
Juggling 20 balls. Yeah, that's right. We let Mark talk, though. We did let Mark talk.
I'm happy with the amount that I've talked. Often when we do stuff like this, I feel deficient on speaking, but I'm happy with today's. Yeah.
Well, we're glad we made him happy.
Yeah, that's right.
You ladies made the working dad feel comfortable.
That's right.
We're working people.
What an awesome business. Well done. Congratulations on your award as well.
Thank
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I'm certain that we're going to be seeing you again, or certainly hearing from you again. Without a doubt.
We're going to work together to see how we can help people.
Oh, we can do some magic. And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And please, if there's anyone out there, ask us anything. Don't feel shy to ask for advice from people. Sometimes we get scared to ask people.
I agree.
For advice.
In all seriousness, gals, you guys are changing people's lives. Like you're going into so many schools at such a critical time of these people's lives. And making an impression that may not be a GalMatic, may not be a car impression, but they're saying there's a woman up there. I want to do that job. She's confident. She's Greek, whatever. Lisa as well. I think there's a lot of people there. So you guys are doing a great thing for the community.
100%.
Well done.
And just to wrap up,
I think I don't think there's not our parents or friends or anything, but I think both of you, in your track record is just pretty incredible.
But I just to wrap up, I had a mum reach out to me yesterday, Mark, talking about helping people. And look, behind the scenes, I'm getting asked a million questions a day, and I will always answer them, always.
Non-working mum or working mum?
I don't know actually, but I don't know. I didn't ask, and it doesn't really matter.
Imagine calling a non-working mum, you'd be shot.
You can't say that. I tell you what, being a housewife is one of the hardest jobs you'll ever do. That's for sure. But I had a mum reach out to me yesterday, and she said to me that her 15-year-old daughter follows me on social media, and she really mentors me. And she said, I just wonder if you'd have 5 minutes to, maybe just sit down and talk to her. She's quite an impressionable age. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. And I said, actually, I would love to come and meet her. So that's what I'm going to do on Thursday at 1:30. I'm actually going over there to meet the daughter. So I just think that's awesome. I love that. I love that we're able to help people and hopefully change some lives along the way. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was lots of fun. Next time I hope I get to meet you in person as well.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I will. Yeah.
Thanks,
Eleni.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. I
everybody.
hope we helped you tonight. Love you. See ya. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.